Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game! When we last left off, we just got out of the water at Atlantis, and hopefully we can dry off at the mines. But before we do, remember how I was talking about how the beta version has a bunch of unused music? Well, I just remembered that the cutting room floor has a scan from the Latin American magazine Club Nintendo number 26, the Chilean edition, and it shows an earlier version of the game, including a screenshot featuring Porky Pig and Daffy Duck in a scrapped shooting minigame. It wouldn't surprise me if one of the unused songs was meant for that. Now, the blurb basically talks about how Sunsoft does well with licensed games, and that replaying the game could result in different scenery, or you might play an Olympic-styled sports game? I'm not really sure if they mean that minigame. I mean, I know the Olympics have a skeet shooting game, so maybe the writer was drawing comparisons there. Anyway, credit to Jave at the cutting room floor. I will link to the scan in the description. Now then, let's get into the abandoned mines. Well, so much for drying off. So, the randomizer has had its effect on this opening screen here. It could be stormy, or it could be not stormy. So the quote-unquote music here is separate from the rest of the level, and the final version also does the same, although it's a different song in the final version. The beta version, as you can hear, is very stormy, and FYI, it could be stormy music regardless of whether it's stormy here or not. Whereas the final version of the game is just a little jingle with no stormy ambience. Now, which version do I prefer? Quite honestly, I think both versions should have been used. Could have had the stormy version for when it's stormy and the little jingle when it's not. By the way, I like the effect of the water droplets on the sign. That is a nice touch. Now then, as we enter the mines proper, we are going to be treated to what I think is the best song in the beta version. Oh, and we should probably slide on down. Whee! Run, 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 climb! So, Level 4. Level 4 can be a bit of a maze. There are multiple branching paths, more than one of them leading to forward progression. And some of the forward progression is one way. Because of this, you can definitely start to feel like you're getting lost in this level, even if you're not necessarily lost. It wasn't until I took the time to draw up a map of this level that it all finally started making sense. And I will be following this through the level, taking the paths of most interest. Now, speaking on the subject of the randomizer doesn't just randomize weather in this game. It can also randomize bits of scenery. For example, in this level, these light bulbs could instead be lanterns. And these chains could have been ropes, or they could have been ladders. Definitely gives this game a bit of a Mandela effect. Now then, forward progression. If we go down, it is forward progression. Go to the right, it is also forward progression. And if we go down from here, that is forward progression. It leads to the same forward progression as the drop to the left. But I want to go to the right because it is the path of most interest. And just in front of me is a stake in the ground. That indicates that there's a boulder that will drop on me as soon as I try to pass by that. So I'm gonna kind of juke it? Or is this... Okay, that one I want to walk past. The thing about the boulders in this level, they drop differently depending on which stake you drop by. So you kind of have to figure them out, which way you need to trigger them. That heart is absolutely not worth it. Oh, nice to see the return of the blood count bats. So down here is forward progression number 2, which converges with forward progression number 1 right here. And in fact, if we go up to it, forward progression number 1 would have dropped us from up there straight onto spikes. That's kind of a rude troll. Meanwhile, more splitting of the path. The sign has an exclamation mark. The signs here are another thing that can be randomized. It could have been saying something like, instead, look out. Look out for what? Another boulder. In this case, we want to just hug the wall to avoid it. Or kiss it, as the case may be. Rub my pig nose against it. We'll say that. You wouldn't expect it, but pig noses are not actually that squishy. They're actually very firm. To my understanding, useful for digging. Though you will not be seeing me sticking my snout in the dirt. Can I talk a moment about these things, by the way? Trying to sneak past these things is weird. If you don't want to take a hit, you could jump over them, or you could pass by them when they're going behind. Which is weird because you yourself are going behind the poles that they are swinging around. Yet somehow, both you and it going behind, you don't take damage. As for this room is just points. Probably one of the least useful secret rooms in the game. Not that it's much of a secret. It's kind of obvious. Let's not slide down too far. Down there is forward progression again. But I kind of want to make my way up, which actually means I want to respawn that bat. To make my way back up. Because the next path of interest is up this way, and we'll converge down there soon enough. And we're going to once again slide on down. And this section here, with all the cupcakes, kind of leaves the impression that that was supposed to be a group of flashing cupcakes. The thing of it is, there are no more flashing cupcakes in the game. Even further ahead in the game, there's going to be more sections that seem like they should have them, but nope. Flashing cupcakes only in the first few levels. I don't know if they forgot to program them in or what. Anyway, up there is where the path of forward progression would have taken us had we slid down that one slope. The paths have converged, and well, we can't go up this way, so we go through the wall. Now, can I talk about the music for a bit? The song here, obviously borrowing from the classic song In the Hall of the Mountain King. And in fact, I swear I've heard multiple Looney Tunes games use this song. Forward progression is that way, but optional path if I make my way up. Now, in the final version of this song, while that is the main motif of it, the beta version, as you can hear, actually expands on the song. And it is kind of actually good. And of course, the beta version also sprinkles in some stormy noises, which we will hear momentarily again. Well, while we're waiting for that, what is my personal preference? I will say the final version is definitely a little cleaner, less staticky. It in fact has that classic Super Nintendo sound font. However, while the beta version's stormy ambulance is not exactly fitting for being inside a mineshaft, the beta version of the song does so much more with the song. So I definitely gotta give the point to the beta version. By the way, I said at the start of this playthrough that I am doing this playthrough as a kind of celebration for my first Halloween as a full-time pig. I kind of want to talk about that. I would be remiss if I didn't. Just give me a moment to collect my thoughts here. Alright, thoughts collected. Evil rat bopped. I can't imagine being stomped on by a pig feels very good. Those hooves are hard. So, most of y'all should probably be familiar with this image by now. I got this art way back in 2020, on the 22nd of August. The art is by Leo the Pig, who sadly has disappeared from the internet, so there is no linking to source. Now, at the time that I got that art, I was not really a fan of pigs at all. A lot of pigs were depicted as either slobs or villains, and being turned into a pig was seen as a curse. But Leo the Pig drew cute pigs, and so, on a whim, I asked to be drawn as a pig to kind of find out how I would look as one. And, as you saw, I make a pretty dang cute pig. And the image just kind of stuck with me, until finally, about 6 months later, 5 or 6 months later, I was able to try out being a pig in Second Life. And it really clicked for me. Something about being a pig just clicked. Now, I know, some of you might be thinking, why would you want to be a pig? People eat pigs. Well, not me, they ain't. I mean, I was definitely aware of the pig's role as a farm animal. I used to enjoy a lot of bacon cheeseburgers myself. And when I first became a pig, there was definitely that sense of, holy heck, I'm the animal that bacon comes from. I really got into the mindset of being this farm animal. And I'll admit, there was a certain novelty to it all. I felt unique. Now, not long before this, I started being a skunk. And in fact, it was my second time being a skunk. And being a skunk, becoming a skunk was really important to me, because I thought it would be really cool to have that weapon of mass destruction beneath my tail. To have that be an actual part of my identity. After finally making myself spend a couple of years as a skunk, and I do mean making myself, the novelty of that weapon just kinda wore out. And without that novelty, being a skunk just wasn't interesting for me anymore. I mean, they're still cute. I was kinda cute, but Drat. It wasn't really a fit. Being a pig, on the other hand... Don't walk into the side of these spikes, by the way. You will take damage. There we go. So, at this point, the novelty of being a quote-unquote farm animal has worn off. I am just a pig. Kinda like how Porky Pig is a pig. I mean, nobody ever talks about Porky being a farm animal. I mean, heck, if anything, Porky has been a farm owner. And that's what I enjoy about being a pig. And I don't mean being a farm owner or a farm animal. I mean, just like Porky, I am not a stereotype. I just happen to be a pig. Complete with curly tail. And that has been really fun. Oink! And this here is the last section of the level, although there's plenty of exploration to be doing here, along with more dangers. Nose the wall again there. Very dangerous 1,000 points. And here's a secret that I didn't know about until recently. I suppose a subtle hint is that there's a spot there where there's none of these bouncy slime things. But, no, I've never actually noticed that before. I always saw that spot as just a reprieve from dodging these slime things, which I wouldn't have minded right there. Let me try this again better. Yeah, that is definitely tight. Can I fit in between them? Okay, that is also tight. And that was just a misjump. One up. Oh, I was hoping to grab the ladder there. Now, to the right is forward progression, to the left, optional stuff. To the left is also spikes that are not programmed properly. Whoops! Watch out for that. Also make note, if we bring the camera up here, there's a 1-up in a corner up there. We'll get to that soon enough. Now, once again, slide on down, dodging a boulder. And 1-up. And right here, there's a secret down here that I literally just found out about a few hours ago. If you hold left, you'll enter a cubby hole where there is a heart. And from here, make our way back up. Okay, forward progression. Slide down here, and we'll make our way to that 1-up we saw. The boss is just up there, by the way. Getting in here is a bit of a trick. Run, 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 run. You're not running, there's no run button. Climb! Definitely a good thing these boulders don't usually respawn. Alright. Boss time. And the boss is... Tweety Bird, who is turned into a sort of Mr. Hyde. This is actually based on the short Hide and Go Tweet, which, as it so happens, was also a dream. Now, talking about the music for a moment, this is once again another instance where the music made it into the final version, but, oops, much like some of the other music in the final version is cleaner, but the quality of instruments is simpler. Now, when it comes to songs like this, it definitely comes down to personal preference. Like, do you prefer the staticky but filling beta version, or the clean but simple final version? In this case, I am going to go with the beta version. I mean, the final version is cleaner, yeah, but it is simplified to the point that it actually sounds more like a beta track than the actual beta track. As for the boss itself, this is the easiest boss in the game. As you saw earlier, Tweety doesn't damage you. The only hazard is a water droplet that sometimes pops up. And had I not been sitting here talking about the music, I could have won the fight already. Allow me to demonstrate. Well, that's a fun little victory jingle. Actually, probably my favorite victory jingle so far. Now, why couldn't the final version keep these? Instead, they all use the same fanfare every fight. But that is the end of the abandoned mines. We are back above ground, and next time, we are getting 2 levels for the price of 1.